he thinks I'm a tree, though, and he likes me now. Come on, honey. There you go. Oh, you're beautiful. And there he goes.
What a find.
I wonder where Steve's going to lose this film.
These are two of the least intelligent animals in the Aussie outback. We're not sure whether the emus think they're sheep or whether the sheep think they're emus.
There's still a long way to go on the dingo fence, and we're about to find some surprises when we hit the Nullarbor Plain.
Right throughout the remote areas of South Australia, there are many hazards and signs warn of some of the dangers.
Along the fence, there are poison baits. 1080 is an extremely toxic substance used mainly against dingoes, but it's also effective against foxes and feral cats.
And on top of the 1080 baits, there are leg traps with their claws coated with a fast-acting poison, strychnine. All in all, it's certainly no place to be without permission and without taking care every step of the way.
On my first trip to South Australia, I couldn't resist playing tourist at one of the many ruined homesteads scattered around the state. In the 1860s, farmers arrived full of hope during a rare time of high rainfall. A 20-year drought then forced all but the toughest of them to abandon their homes. As always, we explore. Old sheets of iron never seem to let us down. This time, it's one of Australia's most venomous spiders.
These chunks of tin provide a really good habitat for this redback spider. Redback spiders found throughout Australia. Whoa, you're getting a little bit cranky, are you? See her standing up there, getting very cranky. A little bit cranky. See that? You can see that webbing on her back leg, right? That's a defensive mechanism. When I touch her, she'll try and get me with that, and then follow through with a couple of fangs and give me a good stick. Look back down here. Here's a heap of egg sacs. So she's been laying eggs, hatching out babies for probably quite a while. Quite a large, matured redback. She's a little bit cranky, a little bit cranky. There are several other large salt lakes apart from Lake Eyre in South Australia, and there are many smaller ones. They have crusts of salt up to ½ a metre thick and occasionally enough water to have a little bit of fun with.
This is part of the most arid region in Australia. You can still run into enough water to make driving difficult. The ground conditions were always changing and always harsh. By the time we'd reached this stage of the journey, we'd had to change every tire on the vehicle.
We've come out of the Salt Lake country now and back to the dingo fence near Seduna. We're getting closer to the end of our epic drive, but there's still plenty of Australian wildlife to encounter before we reach our destination. It's a brown.
A western brown. He holds a respected spot on the list of the world's most venomous snakes.
We should always treat snakes with respect, and although the western brown is a potentially dangerous creature, if given room to escape, they will always retreat, and grabbing them by the tail is for experts only.
We're now in wombat country. These usually inoffensive animals are probably the biggest danger to this section of the fence. The holes they make open the way for dingoes to breach the barrier and move into sheep country.
We're on the far western perimeter of the dingo fence. This is a triple bunger, poison laid. The triple bunger, you've got your poisons, the mesh fence to stop the dingo, and this is very interesting. Modern technology comes into the fence line here. You've got 4 strands of wire, and they are electrified. I just ran into it before, unfortunately, and by crikey, it packs a wallop. 6,000 volts. Wombats, they pose a real problem to their barrier people in that they dig under the fence. When the wombat comes up, bang, hits that, believe me, there is no way he'd come back into it a second time.
And it has worked. Electric fences virtually eliminate wombat damage and also stop other wildlife being caught in the fence.
We've just knocked over thousands of kilometres of fence line, and we've only got about 300 left to go, but I'm sure there's going to be a few surprises all the way to the end.
From here, we've decided to travel along the original dingo fence, which goes further west than the current barrier and further into the Nullarbor Plain and more wombat territory.
We're down here on the Nullarbor Plain, and all these holes that you can see around me, these are wombats. They're the southern hairy-nosed wombat, and there's only a handful of them left, only found in this area. So it's very important that we try and study, understand, and maintain what wombats we've got left. Now, there's a very unfortunate predicament here for the wombat, and that is the competition